What's going on, family and friends? Back with another one. Reasons why, or maybe why you should not invest into Bitcoin. Let's hear what some of the sages and gurus have to say on this topic.
In terms of cryptocurrencies generally, I can say almost with certainty that they will come to a bad ending. It's ingenious and blockchain is important, but Bitcoin has no unique value at all. It doesn't produce anything. You can stare at it all day and no little Bitcoins come out or anything like that. It's a delusion, basically. If I could buy long-term puts, if I could buy a 5-year put on every one of the cryptocurrencies, I'd be glad to do it, but I would never short it.
Warren Buffett is the greatest investor of all time. Today, we will hear his opinion on Bitcoin. This video is a must-watch all the way through, regardless of your attitude to cryptocurrencies. As Charlie Munger says, if you disagree with somebody, you want to be able to state their case better than they can. And at that point, you've earned the right to disagree with them. If you end up liking this video, consider subscribing to Free Invest.
Somebody else that they know is going to make money, and they aren't going to make money. It just draws people in. At
one point this weekend, you said that Bitcoin, and this was based, you were asked, Charlie said Bitcoin's like rat poison. You were asked about that comment, and you said, well, it's probably more like rat poison squared. Charlie went on in the meeting to then basically call Bitcoin turds.
He is an expressive sort, isn't he? Maybe when he gets a little older, he'll mature.
I just want to ask you about that because it sparked so much controversy, and particularly on Twitter and some of the places where you might expect people who are trading in cryptocurrency.
Well, that was then. Let's hear what he may be saying about that now. And if you haven't already, be sure to please hit the like button, share, comment.
Warren Buffett, widely considered the most successful investor of all time, has not minced words when it comes to his hatred for the cryptocurrency space, specifically Bitcoin. One time, when asked about his opinion on Bitcoin, it wasn't enough for Buffett to just call it rat poison, but he took it a step further and referred to Bitcoin as rat poison squared. Despite his disdain, as the old saying goes, actions speak louder than words. And it looks like Buffett is slowly but surely inching his way into crypto, in one form or another.
Now pay attention.
Details disclosed in a securities filing released on February 14th shows that Berkshire Hathaway forked over $1 billion in investment to acquire Class A stocks of Brazil-based fintech NuBank.
Now, I had a chance to look up some information on this Brazil-based company, NuBank. Essentially, they're just another online banking service. They are doing something where they use Bitcoin, or where their members of the bank can purchase electronically traded funds or use Bitcoin as an ETF. All right. So I'm actually going to look that up for us real in a moment by the time I get to the end of this video.
A Bitcoin-friendly bank. NuBank is a publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange and is positioning itself as a crypto bank. In early 2021, NuBank acquired Easy Invest, a Brazilian digital investment firm which manages over $5 billion in assets for over 1.6 million clients. Through Easy Invest.
Now, something I learned about NuBank is that it is considered a safe bank, although like 100% of its digital solutions are available to you like through some form of loan. So you can look to NuBank, although it'll be managing or operating in Bitcoin. It essentially may just be like a centralized bank for Bitcoin transactions or Bitcoin-based banking, you know? So does that kind of contradict the original purpose of Bitcoin? I think some people might argue yes.
As QR Bitcoin ETF, NuBank began to offer crypto services for its customers and dedicated a whole section of its website to educate customers on cryptocurrency and NFT trends.
And that's pretty cool.
This is not Berkshire Hathaway's first foray with NuBank. as it was around this time, June of 2021, when Berkshire Hathaway invested $500 million into NuBank prior to its IPO in December of 2021.
500 before.
At its IPO launch, NuBank traded at $9 per share and closed up 15%, giving the bank an unprecedented valuation of almost $50 billion. Berkshire Hathaway's $1 billion stock purchase of NuBank appears to be a further investment into an already profitable venture, regardless of Buffett's personal feelings. In addition to Berkshire's headlining purchase, it also made two notable sell-offs, dumping $1.8 billion in Visa stock.
Now, I just want to say that, like, real quick, for those that have like read any kind of information on Warren Buffett, you know, he typically likes to approach his investment strategy using, like, absent his emotion. So although he may personally feel like Bitcoin is not necessarily a worthy investment, and I've listened to a couple of videos, and I think I've kind of like understand why he says it's not really a worthy investment, because it doesn't leave you with a tangible asset but it still is a form of hard currency, or rather a hard asset, because it's difficult to create. It's not your traditional investment, right? And I think that also just kind of goes on to say that while it's not your typical investment, and it doesn't leave you a tangible asset, with a tangible asset, something hard in hand, like, you know, if it was bunny rabbits, it would produce little extra bunnies, or if it was a farm, then you're reproducing everything that essentially was on the farm. Then no, it's not like necessarily the smartest investment potentially for a store of value. However, for the difficulty in mining, meaning its non-fungibility, right? The store of value that can and is seen, and a lot of people are investing into, that's there. What else do you have? Use of exchange. While, you know, the store of value may fluctuate, you know, other countries are saying that they're using it as their national currency. And if you're still on the fence about whether or not you should be investing into cryptocurrency, I mean, you know, some of Bitcoin's biggest competition comes in the form of your traditional centralized banking systems, right? Along with your traditional forms of money sending, such as MoneyGram and Western Union. So what does this mean to, like, you know, those types of companies, as well as other companies that are, you know, doing transactions at a faster rate than what most people like or see within the use case scenario of Bitcoin or even Lightning? Let's see what else.
And $1.3 billion in Mastercard stock, respectively. This move comes right on time, as it was just recently that billionaire venture capitalist Chamath Palihapitiya made strong predictions on his podcast about Visa and Mastercard.
My biggest business loser for 2022 is Visa and Mastercard and traditional payment rails and the entire ecosystem around it. So I think that this is the year you can put on what probably will be the most profitable spread trade of my lifetime.
Now, for those who haven't been following any of my previous content, it's probably a really good idea to check out this video that I did on, you know, what the Strike Bitcoin and Lightning wallet does for the general public, as far as, like, you know, being able to now be used as a direct deposit. So that way you can also convert a portion of your direct deposit from, like, say, like your W-2 employer, right? Or your traditional statutory form of employer, and convert a portion of your direct deposit into Bitcoin, which means that now, like, it goes directly into an asset, a digital asset, which, if you haven't been looking at some of my other videos, the IRS views this digital asset as a form of property. So there may be real estate that tax exemptions that apply. There may also be fine art exemptions that may apply. There may be taxes that are appropriate to individuals that are being paid or selling or trading and exchanging Bitcoin as a form of currency. So lots of things for you all to take into consider, and please go back and check out some of my videos. By the way, have I mentioned, please hit the like button?
Which is to be short these companies, and that anybody that basically lives off of this 2 or 3% tax, and be long, well thought out Web3 crypto projects that are rebuilding payments infrastructure in a completely decentralized way.
Both of Berkshire Hathaway's moves may come as a shock to mainstream investors, but those involved in crypto shouldn't be too surprised. Crypto advocates have been screaming from the mountaintops that the legacy financial systems as we know them will look a lot different in the near future, and blockchain technology is the reason behind the whole change.
So it's not so much the cryptocurrency, but the technology. And so like if you're investing into the technology, ladies and gentlemen, you are definitely staying ahead of the curve. All right. There are ways to make this technology affordable and to essentially create your own forms of payment systems, point of sale systems, so that way you can remove third parties from your financial services or transactions. You can become the responsible party, and basically now it's peer-to-peer. These are things that why you want to also consider Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is because without the centralization or the control of and the manipulation of the generation of the coin or the coin's value or the cryptocurrency's value, this means that inflation is essentially avoidable. So if maybe again, you're not looking at Bitcoin as a form of traditional investment, right? However, is it the kind of investment that exceeds the inflation rate daily as well as annually?
Warren Buffett was notoriously stubborn about tech stock in the early 2000s and 2010s. Berkshire did not invest in Apple until 2016. His aversion to what he considered high-flying tech stocks is well documented, but when pressed about why he did not invest in Apple, he now famously replied that he didn't invest in companies he didn't understand. Fast forward to 2022, Berkshire Hathaway's 5% take in Apple, which it acquired in 2018 for $36 billion, is now worth $160 billion, and Berkshire on average receives a handsome $775 million per year in dividends. Apple now makes up 40% of Berkshire's equity portfolio.
So the technology is moving at a speed that maybe not everyone understands, right? Things to take into consideration, even though one individual may not have gotten it, a whole country did get it. Okay?
You're ready to start your own business, to turn that passion into a paycheck.
Things for you to take into consideration is why would a whole country decide all of a sudden to potentially use it as a form of currency?
Big announcement.
That is why next week I will send to Congress a bill that will make Bitcoin a legal tender in El Salvador.
Speaking to an opulent gathering of Bitcoin fanatics in Miami, Bukele said his country would be the first in the world to accept Bitcoin as national currency. People were shocked. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency that's lost nearly half its value in just the last few weeks. But Bitcoin isn't entirely new to El Salvador. For the last 18 months or so, the tiny surf town of El Zonte has been running an experiment with Bitcoin. 3,000 people live here, and the only ATM in town is a Bitcoin ATM. Just before the president's announcement, I headed to El Zonte to see how Bitcoin is changing the community.
Necesito hacer unas compras ahorita, Marcos.
Diga.
Necesito $2 de huevo, cebolla, tomate, chile verde.
¿Qué más?
Chile verde.
Sí. ¿$1 también?
Sí.
¿Cómo fue la aplicación?
Bitcoin Beach. Sí.
This is Milton Cabrera. He's a construction worker in El Zonte who gets paid in Bitcoin.
50.
And he says it's changed his life. Why do you like getting paid in Bitcoin?
Lo prefiero porque igual de una manera u otra el Bitcoin, si lo recibo en cash, en mis manos, se gasta rápido. En cambio, si lo recibo en Bitcoin, puedo sacar lo que necesito y dejo aguardado un poco. En esa forma puedo mantenerme ahorrando y gastando lo necesario nada más.
What do you use Bitcoin for normally in your life?
Sí, igual lo podemos ocupar para pagar la electricidad, agua, igual poder comprar lo básico en la comida, en las tiendas, igual no tengo que estar viajando lejos, igual lo puedo hacer aquí en las tiendas, más fácil.
Are you worried that you're going to lose all your money? Because tomorrow the price of Bitcoin could go to zero.
Tal vez sí, pero igual en la forma de que uno ha conocido Bitcoin, se pone a estudiarlo, de tarde o temprano va a bajar y tarde o temprano va a subir. Igual no tendría, sí entra un temor, pero igual si tiene paciencia uno esperando, puede subir y tal vez obtener ganancia.
That's even the common man can understand that.
How much money extra money have you made because of Bitcoin?
Quizás unos 600, $700.
Wow.
And see that's something called that is known as arbitrage. Being able to make profit on the difference between an asset in two different markets. Okay. Now that might be only a couple of cents. It might, but if it happens so frequently, I mean, think about how many transactions are potentially happening at any given time on like the Bitcoin, or even like now the layer 2 solution of the Lightning Network, and just what that means towards individuals who are getting paid in Bitcoin. I mean, yes, the market may change, but it's not to say that you leave it on the exchange platform in order for you to lose value. I mean, I'm hoping that you understand that, okay, you got your profit, you take some of your profit, you set it aside. Maybe you're rocking a cold wallet storage device, right? Paper or plastic, maybe even metal. Maybe you got your own Bitcoin node, my node or an Umbral, like what I've done in one of my projects. So, there's ways to take your asset, take it off chain, right? To where you store the value of that asset. And then what you're able to then do is later on, use that asset, sell it at a higher value, which again will be a taxable event, but maybe you don't need to because you're in a country where the value of the currency actually helps go a lot further than, I mean, maybe that's just a matter of opinion.
Bitcoin sort of magically appeared in El Zonte. In late 2019, an anonymous American donated about 12 Bitcoins worth at least 6 figures to create a new crypto economy. The idea was for everyone in this town to use Bitcoins for all their purchases. The founders of the Bitcoin Beach
That's another reason why people are interested in Bitcoin, or rather in cryptocurrencies. The protection of one's information, asset protection, anonymity is by far the number one factor in all asset protection strategies. And maybe also a reason why you want to go about getting your estate and trust and other necessary documents updated or planned if you haven't already done so. By the way, Prince L, estate planner. Don't forget, hit the like button, share, subscribe, comment. I know this video is kind of long, but I get excited about this topic lately because, cryptocurrency before, it wasn't something I was like greatly interested in, and that's honest to fact, right? However, I saw the potential and how it can be used more as a point of sale method for me and other of my clients to engage in business, remove some of these other custodial accounts, right? PayPal, Cash App, Strike, even Blue Wallet. These are all like other wallets that are available to you. Blue Wallet, Strike, these are two of my particularly interested wallets. I've done a project, or I've done videos on both of those too, so definitely check those out. But There's really a lot to dive into this video. I'm gonna let it play a little bit.
Organization created a Bitcoin wallet, then started convincing people to use it.
Is this a surf team bus? Or
They hired locals like this guy, Ramon Martinez, and partnered with Strike, an app like Venmo that lets people send each other money.
So to pay with Bitcoin, I got to get my phone out. So I have the Bitcoin Beach wallet.
Okay.
And I have Strike. But I have no money in either of them.
It's good to receive.
So you sent me $10 in Bitcoin. Okay, so now I can send it to her by scanning her QR code.
Yeah.
Which is here. Okay. That's it.
Cold brew with.
And look at that. Just like that. Strike. There is one. There you go. Jack Mallard, you know, hey, he did a presentation with the International Monetary Fund. It's the future is happening all around us. It's happening all around us. And I mean, I'm fascinated by this project, you know, and I think that it's more than just a project. I think that it's something for a lot of us to now get ready to become so accustomed to in our everyday lives. You know, I think that this project can also, benefit people.
Let me show you how to create an amazing ad.
Countries as well. And, you know, I found one more video that I'd like to share with everybody. And it's this particular video has to do with the country of Haiti. So I found this one very particular.
It's more better than the Western Union.
Better than more Western Union. Okay. And that's what people more or less use to
start
about C.A.M.
Yeah, I say C.A.M is more better than the Western Union.
It's better than more Western Union. Okay. And that's what people more or less use to send money to Haiti.
Yeah.
In terms of C.A.M transfer.
Yeah, it's like Haiti, like Republic Dominicana, Brazil, Chile.
All over the world. Okay, because I never heard about C.A.M, and I mean, of course.
See, so there you go. Like, why would NuBank be, you know, starting to become more popular? Because it's, you know, while it's Brazil based, or, you know, it's got a network that's connected to C.A.M. So I'm just helping to show a couple of these bits and pieces, you know.
Everybody have heard about Western Union in terms of sending money there. Like, let me ask you a question. If you were to send maybe $100 or so through C.A.M to your family in Haiti, would they give you a charge, or what kind of charge would they give you?
Not much. Not much. Not much. And then if you want to, they're gonna send the money to your family as well. Okay.
And how long does it take for the transfer and for them to get it? Like
the same day.
The same day?
Yeah, the same day.
The same day.
Yeah, okay. You're gonna just call and say, okay, go to the C.A.M transfer, and then you go wait for the money.
An alternative to MoneyGram and Western Union, which a lot of people are used to already. But C.A.M is like, you know, they've kind of sped up the process and made it to where like it's more like direct and on your phone. Like it's an application now. So, and that application is internationally used. Why is Warren Buffett investing into NuBank? I think because he's looking at how to still be a part of, you know, the financial services that these new companies are going to start replacing these antiquated systems, you know, things like Visa, things like MoneyGram, things like Western Union. All right. So and again, like Warren Buffett, someone who is well known throughout the investment world, it took him a long time to see the value in it. Don't be a dinosaur. And that's not me calling Warren Buffett a dinosaur, you know, or me being an ageist. I apologize. So I respect his wisdom and his experience, but I'm also looking at the experience that he shared and saying, okay, like it took him a while to understand the value of it. Meanwhile, other people have understood it and they've been sharing that information. So be sure to pay it forward. And, you know, at the very least, hit the like button.
And then you're gonna make a picture. You say, does it number
with identification and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me ask you just because the reason why I wanted to ask you that, because I've never heard about C.A.M, and that's really interesting in terms of how you send money to Haiti. Now, have you ever heard about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency? Bitcoin.
Oh, so that one is so that one you can for investment, right?
So yeah,
Because
in part, yes, it's like an investment, but it's just digital money, right? So just like you have a US dollar or the money that you have in Haiti, it's just pretty much the exact same thing. So you can send money from here, from the United States, for instance, and send it to your family in Haiti with no problem, right?
No, there's no problem.
No problem.
No problem.
So, and you can actually do it instantly as well with very, very low fees. So for instance, you can send $1,000 or you can send $10,000, you know what I mean? With a cost.
So if you're going over now, they're gonna ask you more question about it.
Well, no, so, that's the powerful thing about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is decentralized, meaning that nobody owns it, no governments owns it, right? And you don't have to go through any kind of Western Union or any kind of, like you're talking about with this transfer. So it's just pretty much from you.
You don't have to violate your privacy or disclose what the point of the transfer is for. Now, of course, that does trigger some red flags, potentially, that, you know, that certain agencies are concerned about, because they want to make sure that you're not engaging in the financing of some form of terrorism, domestic or abroad, right? So there's a valid point to the concern that those agencies have of that concern. Now, by and large, the majority of people are not criminally minded. They're not looking to do something wrong, like, or that potentially may involve them or put them behind bars or their family members in behind bars. However, you're already seeing the precedents of, like, people with experience in years and in profession on how to make something an asset. All right, so look at it as a form of investing into an asset. All right, and the asset, the value of this asset is ultimately being able to reduce some of the expenses or some of the fees that are normally applied to your financial transactions, right? Arbitrage, ladies and gentlemen, arbitrage, making money off of the differences in two coins or currencies, or one product or asset in two different markets. Arbitrage.
Directly to, for instance, your mom, right? With nobody in between you two. So let's just say if you have $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, you can send that to your mom, right? And maybe the fee would only be maybe a couple dollars, and that's it.
So let me ask you a question. When you're talking about the Bitcoin, so a lot of people I got, so they told me, so is it good investment when you're investing in Bitcoin? So can you give me more explanation about that? But
right,
because I want to know more, because they say it's good if you want to invest your money. So I would like to know more about the Bitcoin.
Right. Okay. So in terms of investment, right? So let me.
And so this is where I'm going to stop that video at, ladies and gentlemen, because if you're going to be investing somewhere, you know, invest into something that's going to help you outlast the inflationary rate, and also something that's going to give you a greater store of value than what you're doing with your money in your traditional banking system, right? Now, yes, are there new banking systems that are coming out? NuBank is definitely one new system of banking that you should look into, right? Online banking. But of course, there are already many other banks that provide that kind of service, but not like NuBank does, particularly with using Bitcoin. And they're already in countries that are using Bitcoin for their form of national currency, right? Brazil, and they've got a network that's also available to them outside the US, which allows them to make those types of transactions more easily accessible for the people. So if you're not already putting this all together, again, not financial advice, but strategies on how to potentially make Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies work for you while you're abroad or outside of your country of origin, while in the United States, consider Strike, because Strike is going to do what Visa, Western Union, MoneyGram already do. You're going to take care of your day-to-day basic financial transactions. You're going to be able to use it like as a system, as a form of currency, and it's going to make your transactions a lot faster. So that way you don't have to risk, losing all of your Bitcoin, right? And you're still able to maintain a portion of your finances or your anonymity and your asset protection strategy very strong, right? Because like the Lightning wallets are separate from your Bitcoin wallets, but it's built on the Bitcoin blockchain. It's a lot to take into consideration. Maybe you want to be on one of our calls. You're invited. Just be sure to hit me back or comment below. Hey, how can I get the link? All right. Prince L, crypto enthusiast, estate planner. All right. And reasons why you want to maximize those tax benefits that are available to your estate, especially when it comes to a form of investments into digital assets, also known as digital currencies. All right. Prince L, once again, if you have not already hit the like button, please also hit the bell button and subscribe so that way you can get more of this kind of update on, new and trending information related to your estate and cryptocurrencies. Peace out.